Music of Bach, his fourth Brandenburg Concerto, the Concerto in G major, BWV 1049. The performance here, this may surprise you, by not a professional adult ensemble, but rather the Richmond Youth Chamber Collegium, under the direction of Michael Holmes. This is a recording of a performance they gave at St. Paul's Episcopal, and Michael, who's here with me, I don't remember what the date was. Here we go, May 30th. There we go, May 30th of this year. Well, that was a quick turnaround on this CD. I have Michael Holmes, who is the music director of the ensemble, here with me to talk about an upcoming performance from the Richmond Youth Chamber Collegium, and also about a performance from the Dresden String Quartet. That'll be taking place tonight at 8 o'clock at the Virginia Historical Society. We'll get to some more about that, which is a very interesting story, Michael, in just a moment. But first, let's start with the Richmond Youth Chamber Collegium itself. Who are they?
Who are we? Well, we are a group of, I guess I should speak of the kids, a group of very special kids, come from this area, very hard-working musicians. Some of them are very busy as musicians, but most of them are mainly serious musicians that are considering careers in music. And I would say about 90% of them are going to go into music as a profession, going to music school, conservatory, and some of them are very intelligent scientists, and which is interesting because in the music field, oftentimes we had talked about this with our interviews with Stephanie Pyle before a long time ago. You have some of the most talented students end up going into the scientific field, and that almost happened to me as well. But we have a couple of kids who are in the governor's school that are very brilliant, but they're not choosing music as a career. They're going, they can play their socks off. Unbelievable. But we have a really very special group of kids, and the peer pressure is to make music and to make it on as much as we can attempt at the professional level, and to give very interesting programming and performances of unusual repertoire, and then some stuff that you normally hear in the concert hall. But this concert we have this weekend is very interesting, that we're doing a very unusual program of 20th century music, but not the 20th century music that you normally associate with, as we'll talk about later, Schulhoff and composers of 12-tone music and pointillistic and very, as some people call, ugly-sounding music. This is a very tame 20th century concert that we're doing this weekend. But this is a very go back to your question, this is a very special group of kids. Many of them are in other youth orchestras in town, including the Richmond Symphony Youth Orchestras, the VCU orchestra, which is, it has many names in the past. They were the Civic Orchestra, now the VCU Community Philharmonic. I'm getting this wrong. My friend and colleague, Charles West, is probably listening now. But many of those kids are involved in that, and they're also in some involved in the Richmond Philharmonic, and of course their school orchestras. So they're very busy. But the ones that are very dedicated and want to take many experiences join my group, and they rehearse on the weekend on Saturday afternoons from 2 to 4. And it's such a pleasant experience because we're in the middle of St. Paul's Church, historical church in downtown next to the Capitol. Beautiful place. And they've housed us there, and we have an exchange. We provide them music, and they give us the space to rehearse in. So it's a really, really nice experience. And we are almost a year old now. We formed, and at the time of formation, I actually had an interview with you last year, and we talked about this concert that we did. Actually, the performance of this Bach that we did, this is not the performance, that was a studio recording that was on there.
Oh, okay.
And some is from the live performance. Actually, the Mozart, if you do play the Mozart later, the Mozart 40th Symphony, that's from the live performance, so you hear a different sound. We took some from the live and some from the studio recording that we did the day before.
There's also on the CD the Wagner Siegfried Idyll If anyone's interested in the CD, I don't know, call me here at the station, and and we'll start the process of getting you a copy. The concert this Sunday is at 3 o'clock. Again, it's at St. Paul's Episcopal Church. And Michael, you mentioned a 20th century program. You're going to start with Ravel.
Ravel, Pavane pour un enfant de... Oh, I can't say. I'll say Pavane for a dead princess is what it's called. I was thinking of dedicating it to the death of Princess Diana, but I'm not sure whether I would do it on this program. I may turn around, or I may just put it in the program. But it hit me one day to say, it would be nice to start off a program for Princess Diana. Since this is an Anglican church, we have a lot of people from the church coming in. I'm thinking about that. I haven't finished the programs yet, so I might put it in. And then we go to the Bartók, which is probably, and it's not a very dissonant piece, but it's the most dissonant piece on this program for 20th century music.
But it grooves.
It grooves, yes. And it has 7 dances, and they're very short dances, some of them 34 seconds, 30, 40, a minute long, whatever. And my conducting student, Aaron Kripe, who is a music major at VCU and clarinet major, student of Chuck West at VCU, and he's doing very well. He's either 19 or 20, I don't know his exact age, but he's conducting on the Bartók for that concert. So he gets 6 minutes of fame. And then we're doing the Simple Symphony by Benjamin Britten, early work, really delightful, and intermission. And then we go to the Glière Coloratura Concerto.
And for that, you will have a soloist who's also with us, soprano Veronika Abolnikova. Oh boy, there I did it. Abolnikova, there we go. Welcome. Sorry about slaughtering your name there.
No problem, thank you.
You were born and reared in St. Petersburg.
Yes.
I guess it was called Leningrad then.
Yes.
Do you live in the States now? Or
Yes, I live in New York right now.
Oh, do a lot of traveling around.
I do some. Last year I spent my time in Europe, additionally, and also performing and studying. And during that time I did a lot of travel throughout Germany and Europe. And also in the United States, I get to move around a lot for auditions and some performances. And this is my first time here in this part of the United States.
Oh.
It's beautiful.
And do you like it?
I love it. It's
everybody,
beautiful.
all the soloists that always come to Richmond, I bring my friends that I've worked with in other cities and Europe workshops and everything, and I bring them here, and they always like it here. And you said something last night that the first time you stepped on the autumn leaves ever before? Was that
the first
correct?
time in many years.
Yeah.
Since I spent
Since Russia, right?
Since
Yeah.
Russia, because I spent my first years in the United States in California, so there's no
Not a lot
autumn
of
there.
leaves there, huh?
No, not a lot of season change.
Southern California.
This is off the track here, but for years and years I had always wondered why Stravinsky chose to be buried in Venice. And then one day it occurred to me, city of canals, and St. Petersburg, a city of canals as well. People don't focus on that aspect of St. Petersburg, though, as much, I think, the canals. But anyway, just a little sidetrack there.
But there are many faces of St. Petersburg because it's a mixture of many styles. There's French and German and Dutch and Italian. Since starting Peter the Great, the Russian Tsars invited Western European architects to develop the city of St. Petersburg. And they were invited from all over the region, the Western European region. So there's actually a mixture of every style. And it's beautiful. It's very... very different, diverse, but it's beautiful.
Well, we're glad to have you in town and performing with the, I'm going to blank out on the name, the Richmond Youth Chamber Collegium. There we go. You'll be performing the Glière Coloratura Concerto, a work that probably doesn't get as much play as it should.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful, beautiful piece. Is it? Well, I guess it is challenging. It's called Coloratura.
It is very, very technically challenging. It is, I think it is more difficult because, first of all, it doesn't have any words.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not contrary to opera or concert repertoire, song repertoire. It doesn't have any words, it doesn't have any drama attached to it. So it's more like an instrumental piece where your instrument is the voice. And so, and technically it is written more for an instrument in mind rather than a human voice.
Maybe
and that's
close to a
why-
violin is what I hear. I hear a violin solo.
Yes.
There.
Yes, and that makes it more difficult,
Yeah.
but that also makes it more exciting.
Soprano Veronika Abolnikova will be performing the Glière Coloratura Concerto. Again, the concert is this Sunday at 3 o'clock at St. Paul's Episcopal Church. The Ravel Pavan on the program, the Bartok Romanian folk dances, and the Britain Simple Symphony as well. It just occurred to me, Michael, the Britain was based on themes that Benjamin had written when he was a child,
These piano pieces,
and he
yeah.
went back to them and turned them into this sort of neoclassical little symphony, and that's sort of what's happening here with the musicians, the Richmond Youth Chamber Collegium. They're little themes of childhood. They're going to grow up to be professional, professional orchestral musicians. 3 o'clock, St. Paul's Episcopal Church, downtown. Let's get to some more music, and then we'll talk about another concert that's coming up tonight, in fact. Back to your CD. This is from the Mozart 40th Symphony, G minor symphony, the final movement, Michael Holmes leading the Richmond Youth Chamber Collegium. Music of Mozart, the final movement of his 40th Symphony, the G minor symphony. The performance by the Richmond Youth Chamber Collegium under the direction of Michael Holmes from their new compact discs. We already heard music of Bach from this CD, and there's music of Wagner as well. We may have time to get to that later in the hour. With me is soprano Veronika Abolnikova and Michael Holmes, director of the ensemble. They're giving a performance this Sunday, 3 o'clock at St. Paul's Episcopal Church. Some favorites of the 20th century, really, on the program. The Ravel Pavan, Bartok Romanian dances, Britain Simple Symphony, and the Glière Coloratura Concerto. There's something else going on tonight, Michael. Tonight at 8 o'clock, which has a very interesting story behind it. It's a string quartet playing tonight at 8 at the Virginia Historical Society, and it's a performance that sort of came out of nowhere, but
has landed right in my lap. And I've been taking care of it, still taking care of it today, working on the programs. But it's a really exciting thing. Actually, a friend of mine, I'll mention his name again, Andreas Marx. Somehow I always mention his name in every interview. I don't know how. Deals with that Verdi concert we did with the extra brass.
No,
but he called me up about a month ago, maybe even less than that, 3 weeks ago, and he said, we have a contact with one of the German corporations here in town that has also contacted the German embassy in Washington, D.C., I think is what he said. And we would like to bring the Dresden Staatskapelle into Richmond. And I said, you're absolutely nuts. What are you talking about? Then I said, this can't be true. It has to be a chamber group or something. So he checked on this, and he told me that, yes, it was, in fact, a string quartet from the Saxon State Orchestra. We got the fax from the German embassy. We talked about it. We had lunch. And we worked with two people. I should mention their name, Hans Oppe, which is the, and I hope I don't get his position incorrect, but chief executive or president of the Hauni Corporation in the East End, has been instrumental in putting this together, and also the Wella Balsam Company, Wella, I guess is that what they call it, the Richmond annex of that, or the Richmond branch, all got together with us, and we strategized and said, how are we going to get an audience to come to this concert? Obviously, these Germans are putting this together because they want to tie it into the Deutsche Schule in Richmond. They actually made it a benefit concert for the German School of Richmond, which is a school which meets at collegiate high school or collegiate schools only on Fridays, and serves the needs of the German-speaking community here in town. So I decided, at all costs, we have to bring this quartet into town because I'm a person who likes collaboration, obviously. I come here and bug you with these interviews, and so I said, let's do it. And we went way out of the way to try to get all the publicity accomplished. We went to the papers and everything, and it looks like we'll get a pretty good crowd this evening. And this is going to be a benefit concert for the Deutsche Schule, Richmond. Now, a little bit about the quartet. I have not heard them live, so what we're hearing this evening also is very interesting for two reasons. One is because I have not heard the quartet, and two is because there's a work on there that's very interesting by Schulhoff, which was a composer that was grouped into the Entartete Musik, or degenerate music series or blacklist of composers by the Nazis. And I think it's interesting to put on this program because I understand, if I get my sources correctly, they were raising money to build a synagogue in Dresden, this quartet. I could be wrong, but this is some secondhand information I've gotten. And so some members of the Jewish community here in Richmond are going to get together with Germans, to German-speaking people, and some people interested in both cultures, to come together and come to this concert. And I'm going to meet the quartet and transport them and hear this concert tonight. I think it will be very interesting. Now, the reason I'm speaking about it is because we decided to do a joint fundraiser with the Deutsche Schule, and they're the primary beneficiary. But for my group, the Richmond Youth Chamber Collegium, we get a certain percentage of that. I'd just like to mention that. So that's why I'm talking about it. But other than the fact that I'm really excited to bring this quartet into town.
It's interesting
part of it.
Interesting program and an interesting meeting of the Jewish and German, and benefits the German school, benefits the Chamber Collegium. Everybody benefits. They'll also be performing music of Mozart, string quartet in B flat, K589, and
late
Haydn.
Quartet,
late Mozart, and Haydn. Late Haydn too, fairly
both
late.
very late. Yeah.
Opus 76, number 5 in D. My understanding from the material that I've seen about the Dresden String Quartet, they veer back and forth between classical era works and 20th century pieces. So this program will be very representative of...
I don't know whether they've premiered, from what the facts I got from the embassy saying that they have either premiered or had actually performed extensively works of 20th century composers, including Arvo Pärt and Gia Cancelli. Mm-hmm. There are a few other composers on there that I thought was interesting, but their programming, it looks like they're doing some interesting things in Dresden.
That'll be tonight at 8 o'clock at the Virginia Historical Society, the Halsey Family Lecture Hall, it says here, South Entrance. Let me give you a number for information. There'll be tickets at the door, but 236-5415. Can I give that number?
Please.
Okay.
Please, go ahead. There are two numbers. There are two numbers on there.
236-5415. 236-5415 for more information about it. Tonight at 8 at the Virginia Historical Society. The admission is modestly priced. Remember, it goes to benefit the German School of Richmond. We don't have the Schulhoff piece that they'll be playing, so in fact, I don't even know if there's a recording of it, so it'll be new to everyone.
Right.
5 pieces for string quartet, but I do have a string quartet from this Czech composer who died during the Holocaust. This is his first string quartet from 1924. We'll hear a movement performed here by the Colorado Chamber Players. music of Erwin Scholhoff, a movement from his first string quartet, dating from 1924. We heard the performance here by the Colorado Chamber Players. I think what was really interesting about a lot of the composers of this era who died during the Holocaust, Scholhoff and Klein and Hans Krasse, is that they had such a unique sound. It didn't fit comfortably in the Schoenberg, Berg, Webern side, and it didn't fit comfortably in the Stravinsky side. It was unique in the way that I guess Bartok's was, and unfortunately they never were heard, and so could never really establish an influence in music. A lot of new CDs coming out of composers from this era. The reason I played it, music of Scholhoff, not that work, but a set of 5 pieces for string quartet will be performed tonight by the Dresden String Quartet. They also have a late quartet of Mozart and a late quartet of Haydn on the program. It's taking place tonight at 8 o'clock at the Virginia Historical Society. It's a benefit for the German School of Richmond, a unique opportunity to hear the Dresden String Quartet right here in Richmond. There is admission charged. If you need more information, here's a number to call, 236-5415, 236-5415. And with me is Michael Holmes, who's been instrumental, so to speak, instrumental in making arrangements for the Dresden String Quartet appearance here in Richmond. He's also the music director of the Richmond Youth Chamber Collegium, and they have a performance coming up Sunday at St. Paul's Episcopal Church downtown, Sunday at 3 o'clock. They'll be joined by, actually they're guests in the studio here today, soprano Veronika Abolnikova. She'll be performing the Glier Coloratura Concerto, also the Ravel Pavane on the program, the Bartok Romanian Dances, Britten Simple Symphony. Michael, is it free? Or are you taking donations?
Admission is free, and we're suggesting donations for that.
This Sunday, 3 o'clock at St. Paul's Episcopal Church. What else you have coming up? It looks like you got a lot of exciting things lined up.
It's been a busy year, and it will remain to be a busy year from here on out. We have a concert in February with, again, the friend and colleague I mentioned, Charles West, who will be playing the Mozart Clarinet Concerto. So he will be strutting his stuff and showing his mastery on the clarinet, which I think all of us know how he plays. We've heard him many times on the air.
I'm always playing his CD.
Is that right? Is that right? Yeah, I hear that. I remember when you were working on the overnight show. You used to play occasionally everything. You played everything. A very interesting program. We're doing on that same concert. Linda Edwards is going to perform one of the Vivaldi bassoon concertos, and she is a bassoonist with the Richmond Symphony, and a good friend of mine, and wants to play with us on June 20th. We're inviting Kevin Hekmatpana back into town to do the Tchaikovsky Rococo variations with us. He was with us last year. We had done an interview together. On that concert, we'll perform as many movements as possible of the Beethoven Pastoral Symphony No. 6.
Okay.
And trying to arrange everything. But we got invited in the fall by the Office of the Lord Mayor of Vienna, for what it's worth, to perform at the Vienna Youth and Music Festival, the annual Youth and Music Festival, which occurs in July of every year. So we have the offer. We just need to raise the funds, and that's a part of why I come and do this publicity on the air. We ask to get as many people to come to our concerts, and of course donations are very important. But we will go sometime.
Richmond Youth Chamber Collegium. Again, the performance is Sunday at 3 o'clock at St. Paul's Episcopal Church downtown. Ravel, Bartok, Britten, Glier, all very nice pieces on the program. Go out and support them. It's important for even though they're professionally minded and everything, it's important that there's an audience there.
Very important.
It reaffirms, I guess, that what they're doing is good, and this is the future, folks. These people will be your symphony orchestras of the future. So start the growth process now. Sunday, 3 o'clock at St. Paul's Episcopal, and also tonight the Dresden String Quartet performing music of Mozart, Erwin Scholhoff, and Haydn tonight at 8 at the Virginia Historical Society. Michael, thank you for coming by.
Thank you very much.
And Veronika, hope you continue to enjoy the leaves
Thank you.
here in
The autumn
Richmond.
leaves.
We're going to go back to the CD that you brought by, Michael. This is music of Wagner from the Siegfried Idyll. Music of Wagner from his Siegfried Idyll. The performance here, concert given last spring by the Richmond Youth Chamber Collegium. Again, they're performing Sunday at 3 o'clock, Sunday at 3 o'clock at St. Paul's Episcopal Church. Music of Ravel, Bartok, Britten, and Glier. It's free, but donations accepted. And also, tonight at 8 o'clock, the Dresden String Quartet performing music of Mozart's Erwin Schulhoff, Czech composer, and Haydn. That'll be tonight at 8 at the Virginia Historical Society. That is not a free concert, but all the proceeds go to benefit the German School of Richmond. 12 o'clock, and an update on the news coming up in just a moment. Dan Roberts will tell us about John Philip Sousa's